Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, no matter where you happen to be. Hope you're locked in, strapped in, and ready to roll for what I can only consider to be the capstone series of the day. Two high-profile teams, two of the biggest names in esports squaring off for a chance to punch their ticket to the winner's bracket finals here at the $10,000 Cursed Dota Invitational, sponsored by Alienware, EG, and NaVi. We're ready to roll. NaVi enters play today the way they enter every series, a fan favorite with huge names and a well of talent at every position and with all eyes on their performance. There's no escaping it. Even in their down periods, NaVi draws more viewer interest than any other team in the West, if for no other reason than the mythology they've built up around themselves as the first millionaire Dota 2 squad in the world and the only team last year that could go toe-to-toe with the Asian squads. Good news for them, though, they're anything but down right now, and though they've shown their characteristic consistency problems in online tournaments, when they do get the engine humming, they're truly a spectacle to watch. Just ask QPad, who had a 12-minute GG hung on them by NaVi yesterday on their way to a lopsided 2-0 loss. 10-4 dating back to April. Those who are watching NaVi consistency are beginning to feel something very special as we get into the swing of spring. The slumbering giant is beginning to awaken as the International 3 comes into sight just a couple months down the line, with the remainder of their professional games between now and August serving as a tune-up for the big stage in Seattle. Methinks NaVi isn't likely to give away too many series between now and then, and they'll look to make it 2 in a row here in the Cursed Invitational with a win over Evil Geniuses today. Now, on the side of EG, say what you will, there aren't many teams going right now that deal with pressure and scrutiny and manage to find wins against quality opponents in the same way that Evil Geniuses does and has done so throughout spring. A team that had all but been written off by the community as a whole after a very poor stretch of play throughout the winter. EG has nonetheless stormed back onto the scene and now is in the midst of a stretch of wins many would have thought impossible. They're right back to where they are as a huge blip on the radar, especially following their recent defeat of Dignitas, a TI3 direct invite yesterday. In Dota, it's all about consistency, and as good as they've looked in the past, it's that search for consistency which remains the missing piece of the puzzle for EG. They've been juggling player positions for weeks now, having no less than 3 different players take on the one position across their last 2 tournaments, and most recently having to replace the leadership and experience of a living legend in Melk, who announced his retirement in the last week. What's quickly emerging as the main storyline for EG, though, is that they're seeming to thrive in this inconsistency. Even Bambo, who replaced a full-time support in Melk, is putting in significant minutes in the physical damage-dealing roles. It's been quite some time since NaVi and EG faced off, and when you go back that far with these two teams, really they barely resemble their current form. It's a new beginning for both squads, and with EG hoping to find their way to Seattle through the Western qualifier, today is more than just a chance to advance in the Cursed Invitational. It's a chance to tune up for the big stage they hope to see themselves on in August. I'm EC, joined by Merlini for the broadcast. So excited to get this underway, and we can already see the bans and the picks moving through. 2 of the most common bans in the game have actually made it through. NaVi first picking the EO, EG taking the Keeper of the Light.
Yes, this should be quite an exciting series, and I'm interested to see how these two are going to pair up. Evil Geniuses flexing their muscle yesterday after a very convincing win over Dignitas, as you mentioned, and NaVi consistently one of the top teams in the Western scene, at least for the past couple of years. And yep, Wisp, this is the first time we've seen them in the Cursed Invitational, managing to slip through the first ban phase, a very popular pick in the Western scene.
CK going to be paired up with EO. No surprise to see that. And yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Wisp picked up. You and I actually had a conversation about it, about how in the West, EO is first pick, first ban for almost every team, but in the East, he's completely glossed over. And I'll tell you what, man, Skyrav Mage is storming onto the competitive scene in a hurry. This is what, the fourth or fifth time you and I have seen him played in the Cursed Invitational in the last 48 hours.
And I think he's a very good solution for Clockwork, because if he tries someone in the cogs, he's going to be devastated by that ultimate. The ultimate just does ridiculous amounts of damage, and unless Clockwork gets a Blade Mail, which we don't see that common, usually we see maybe a mech or a Scepter Rush, that Mystic Flare just does tremendous amounts of damage. And we have seen Dendy build a BKB on him, and that ult is just utterly devastating, though.
Tell you what was fun about watching Dindy handle Skywrath Mage, and you know, this is just one caster's point of view, having casted NaVi in events going all the way back to Monthly Madness Season 1 more than a year ago, and just watching him as a player Dindy is a guy, when he has fun is when he's really effective. You can just tell in his play style and how he is as a person. If he's enjoying himself, he's usually playing at a high level. Not the other way around. You know, it's one of those things where, yes, if he's playing at a high level, he'll usually be enjoying himself anyway. But if he's having fun on a hero, then he's going to be effective on that hero. And it just seems he has played so effectively on Skywrath Mage, making a lot of high-profile plays, getting the most out of the hero's skill set. Really exciting to see Dindy kind of reawakened in himself. And let's be honest, still considered one of the best mids in Western Dota. He's no longer quite to the level he was in terms of fans just saying, oh, he's the best player ever. Oh, he's just the best player ever. He's excellent. He's a fantastic player. But he had fallen off a little bit, at least in terms of fan perception. And now rediscovering Skywrath Mage, I think, is really showing us a level of play we haven't seen out of him in quite some time. Back to Evil Genius's lineup. They're going to want a team fight early. They got the Clockwork. They got the Keeper. Now they have a Gyrocopter to give them that mid-game and early-game punch. Rocket Barrage in particular and Call Down going to be of high use if and when they do want to fight.
Yeah, and back to Dindy, he has incredible support from the other players on his team, and they always seem to make room for Dindy to just do his thing. And we rarely see teams able to shut down Dindy, and that's, again, very good credit, or very much credit should be given to their supports. And Gyrocopter, very nice pick here. I like seeing him pick in the first phase. He's just very devastating if he can actually catch EO and Chaos Knight. Sometimes when you relocate gank and if you bait it out properly, that Flat Cannon and Call Down combo is just utterly devastating against those two heroes. You really want a lot of burst to pick off the EO. Some teams choose to have a Disruptor to send them back or send the Chaos Knight back and just kill the Wisp. Some people like using OD to try and Astral the Chaos Knight and pick off the Wisp. Some people like using Lion and just straight up burst them down with Impale Finger. Some people like Gyrocopter. There's a lot of methods to deal with Wisp, but that Tether into Rally Rift into a 2 to 4 second stun from Chaos Knight is really devastating, and Gyrocopter is going to have to get an early BKB if he wants to not die in these team fights.
Well, one thing that I like a lot about EG's lineup and the way it squares up against NaVi, I mean, the way that you deal with a Wisp, I'll probably always call him Wisp, but an EO +1 combination is just to run as 5 as closely as you can. Obviously, you can't do it to the detriment of your gold gain and your experience gain, so you do have to break apart, take some chance. But when you look at EG's lineup, it's all about the AoE. They're gonna have Keeper of the Light with Illuminate. They're going to have when he hits level 6, they're going to have Blinding Light to go ahead and take CK at least marginally out of the fight, really reduce his damage potential anytime he's caught with it. Gyrocopter has excellent magic damage and physical damage in an AoE thanks to Rocket Barrage, Flat Cannon, and Call Down. Clockwork has the ability to isolate a Chaos Knight or isolate a Skywrath Mage. As you had mentioned, Mage can punish that pretty heavily, but what if Clockwork is able to get off to a good start and get himself something like a Blade Mail? All of a sudden, it's a lot less of a liability with the Skywrath Mage on the board. So NaVi is going to have their work cut out for them. They certainly got a couple of heroes they like to run in the EO and the CK. Skywrath Mage again for Dindy, very exciting to see. But I feel like EG is fairly well equipped to deal with this, but as always, it's going to come down to the laning phase and to execution of these compositions. NaVi, TA and Bane are the next two bans out of NaVi, so just trying to take away some more of that mid-game punch, take away a hero who could excel at locking down a CK or a Skywrath Mage. Enigma also taken out, another team fight hero they don't want to see involved, and EG going right to the jugular in terms of supports they know NaVi likes to run. Rubik considered by Puppy, and Puppy said it a number of times, he thinks Rubik's the best support in the game, and Kuroki, one of the best Rubiks you're ever going to see. They take that out, no global presence in the Nature's Prophet, would synergize perfectly with a CK and an EO, looking to relocate around the map. So very cerebral, very, very well thought out bans and picks on both sides.
Yep, so it looks like Evil Genius is still missing one support and probably a mid hero. Again, those are pretty NaVi banned solo and supports. No Rubik means Enigma is pretty useful actually, and his ultimate is very devastating. We haven't seen Enigma that much, though. I'm kind of surprised to see NaVi ban him. He's like really just phased out, especially with like Clockwork. He can just long-range hook shot, Gyrocopter as homing missile. There's just a lot of ways to deal with him, and his ultimate is really, really difficult to pull off. Compare that to like a Magnus RP. It's just, and then was just completely falling off the radar recently. Yep. But he still is a pretty powerful situational pick, especially if you want to push early. So again, there's still Shadow Demon left in the pool. There still is a Disruptor if Evil Geniuses wants to try and use that to send the EO back, and wow, Darkseer pick. Darkseer, again, we see him sometimes like in the first ban, but again, slipping through the second ban, that is actually very, very uncommon.
Yep, and the Lone Druid banned out last by Evil Geniuses. Now, I really want to see what hero they pick up here. That's going to tell us the complexion of what they want to do. Keeper of the Light, again, can offensively tri-lane. They could look to put some pressure on the Wisp by adding another high-tier support, the Shadow Demon, as you had mentioned. An excellent choice against CK, just being able to lock him down, and there it is. So Shadow Demon going to be brought to bear by EG. Not a guarantee they're going to offensively tri-lane, but they do have some good options. I mean, and when you look at the way this is going to work out, it's pretty transparent what NaVi is going to be up to. I can't imagine they want to offensively tri-lane. The Skywrath Mage should and will most likely be played in mid by Dindy. Darkseer likely to wind up in the solo off lane. So what they could try to do is even run an offensive tri-lane with a Clock, a Keeper, and a Shadow Demon, then isolate the Gyrocopter with solo safe lane farm, and then just go ahead and pick up a well-rounded mid to round things out.
Yep, and there's still the good solo mids left. Storm and Puck and Quap all in the pool. Puck he's very, very fragile. I actually don't like playing him versus Wisp at all. If you get Tether Stunned, you're usually just dead, especially with the amount of burst that they have from CK and from Skywrath, or if he's just caught in a wall. It's just too much damage flying around, and we rarely, if ever, see Puck's build BKB. Quap's a little bit more durable of hero, more tanky if she does get Tether Stun, and a lot of burst to deal with the EO, and she's much better with BKB. But we will see the Puck.
Will be a Demon Puck, almost certainly going mid. Shadow Demon, going to be played by Fear. Bambo's going to be on the Clockwork. Yeah, I with Bambo on the Clockwork and Jo on the Gyrocopter, I really think they might offensively tri-lane with the Keeper, the Clock, and the Shadow Demon. Can't guarantee it. But, I mean, with the Chin in the jungle as well, it's going to be an absurdly weak defensive tri-lane coming out of NaVi. They're going to have plenty of an opportunity to get in there and really cause some problems if they really want to. So we'll have to wait and see. Once again, want to welcome everyone in. If you waited through the break or you've been here with us all day, thank you so much for making us such a big part of your day here on this beautiful Sunday. But if you're just tuned in, just wanted to catch some NaVi action, welcome in on behalf of Curse and on behalf of Alienware. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm AC, joined by Merlini. This is our last best of 3 of the weekend. And for those who are wondering how the format works exactly, we've gone through the winner's bracket. This is, again, our last winner's bracket semifinal match on the way right now. We'll play through this, set up the winner's bracket finals afterwards. Team Liquid awaits the winner of this game in the winner bracket finals. But then next weekend, we'll be bouncing back with 2 more days of 3 Series Dota on Saturday and Sunday next weekend. So make sure you join us for that. Then the grand finals, they will be a week later, where we'll play the lower bracket finals as well as the grand finals then. So make sure you keep up with us, and to do so, follow us here on Curse Entertainment. Also follow us on Twitter. I'm at EC. He's at Merlini Dota. And you can follow us on the various other networks as well. Merlini Dota for him for everything, and for me, pretty much ACTV for almost everything else. AYESEE TV. And yeah, I mean, this makes a ton of sense. They are going to offensively tri-lane this, and right now NaVi's there in force, but eventually they're going to break up and go to lane, and this is just going to be a very, very weak tri-lane of NaVi. What do you think of their chances to exploit this?
30 seconds.
You pretty much, this is the best solution to deal with a Wisp. It is aggressive.
And we can see that right now, EG taking their time.
Triple lane. They don't really have the typical tri-lane setup, but we have seen this. This is the exact same triple lane that was used by Liquid, right, versus the Weaver triple lane. So, I mean, it is pretty good.
All right. Looks like we had a little bit of an audio hiccup there. Hopefully it won't continue, but Merlini dropping the knowledge. I'm sure everyone in game was able to hear us. We actually had a complaint that we were talking over each other too much in game, and that's probably just because there has been some intermittent outages in terms of our voice over IP connection. Hopefully it won't continue. Either way, the horn sounds. How about we take a look at who's playing who? We're going to have Puppy, the captain, handling our Chin. No surprise there. He's got himself a double damager. And Jolene, also known as Solskjaer, will be playing on our CK, who will be standing in for Havo. Skywrath Mage in mid, handled by Dinding. No surprise there. Darkseer, played by Kuroki, here soloing one-on-one with Jo, and the Wisp going to be played by Phonic on the other side of the river for EG. We've got Fear handling our Shadow Demon. We're going to have Jo playing on our Gyrocopter. Demon's going to be setting up shop in mid on the Puck. We're going to have Bambo, the newest addition to the EG stable, replacing Melk following his retirement. He'll be playing the Clockwork, and the Keeper of the Light will be played by B-Diz.
And we already see some aggressiveness from Puppey here. There are still 2 missing heroes from EG, and Puppey very wisely scouts him out with this Satyr Tormentor. And I think he will spot Betas right now, and Fear also reveals himself.
We saw Team Liquid do something very similar to that, but it worked out. That time, though, Puppey saying, nope, not falling for it. Knew they were setting up shop, trying to make something happen. Now, this is where things become important. They're going to have to make sure they apply the right, not just pressure, but the right kind of pressure. They have to try to force the CK back, try to make him feel uncomfortable, look for kills on the squishy Wisp if they have the chance, and try to interfere with Puppey if they can at all.
Yep, and they managed to lay a sentry ward here, so that should delay some levels. That is actually one of the most important parts about playing against a Wisp, is delaying his level 6 as long as possible, because CK will just be sitting in the lane, and usually you don't want to take away farm from the carry heroes, so Funnick is forced to try and find experience from the jungle, and being able to slow that down as much as possible will be key to EG gaining a foothold in this early game.
Dindy matching up again here against Demon. We'll keep an eye on this for the moment. 8-7, they're going pretty much blow for blow in terms of harass, in terms of trade. Dindy does have his bottle up, should be on its way to him, and same thing with Demon. The little, not even sure what that's called. I think it is an awesome career, though, and I want it. I lust after it very badly. And the Weasel Crow hopping along, bringing Dindy his bottle as well. So looking at the way these lanes are working out so far, we can already see some rotation. As, yeah, they're just going to go ahead and abandon this. Looks like they were just going to try to gimmick it down there. Instead, not feeling comfortable, they're just going to go and try to get a kill on Kuro. Kuro is going to be disrupted. That actually wasn't the best. It prevented the stun from the homing missile. And now he's going to be able to surge himself away. Might not have made a difference in the end, but still a little bit of a misplay and a miscommunication there from EG.
And now I see why they picked Puck. He has managed to phase shift most of the arcane bolts, negating a lot of that early harass from Dendi, as we see so effective versus Magnus and a couple of other heroes in the middle.
Taking a lot of damage there, and we can see exactly why this hero is just dreaded. Demon does have his bottle charge a little bit negated, but for now, manages to keep himself alive. And Skywrath Mage, I got to admit, when he went in, I wasn't convinced we were going to see a lot of him. I'm beginning to think otherwise, just because of how well he can deal with a number of heroes. Puck, as you mentioned, is able to phase shift some of it, but certainly not all of it. And the way that he deals with a lot of popular mids, most notably the Magnus, it may be something we see a lot more of coming down the line.
I'm glad to see the competitive hero pool expanded ever so slightly after the introduction of a couple of new heroes. So it looks like Fear is just stacking. And again, Fear has been playing the support role quite often recently, and Jo playing the 1 or the 2 role, sometimes Bambo, but Fear is a very experienced player, and that's really what you need on supports. You need experience so you can find out where you need a ward, where you need to be at the right time, and oftentimes the support roles are more important than the carry players. Even though you see the carry players with like the big kills and the really flashy plays, support heroes are often the key to winning games. And also, I think that has a lot to do with NaVi's success as well. They have just incredible support players, and that leads them to victory more often than not.
Couldn't agree more. Demon does eat the silence there, takes a bit more damage, but yeah, we've been harping on it for the last 48 hours. I've been saying it forever. More games are won with support play than they are with carry play. That's a true story. Not to say carries don't have their value. They certainly do. And wow, Puppey actually manages to get a first blood on the board with did he get that with just that? I did.
Oh, I was watching it. Dendi just silenced him and then arcane bolted and conk shot, and then he just popped up with the invis and used his test of faith. So a very easy first blood pickup because of the lack of vision in this area. Kind of lucky with the invis spawn, but still very good play by NaVi there.
Well done, and NaVi first on the board, bringing Puck down. Nice high value kill too. Not as if it's ever bad to get a first blood, but being able to do it to a Puck that you want to keep down as long as you can, especially in the hands of a playmaker like Demon. Very well done. Taking a look at the CS, we can see Gyro's near the top, but Dindy's doing quite well for himself. He's sitting at 27, just behind the Gyro, who is now having total free farm, more or less. CK's right in that range too, sitting at 27. So other than the first blood, relatively quiet here early on. So if things continue the way that they're going, Merlani, who do you think benefits the most from the status quo?
I think NaVi, they're making really good use of the Skywrath Mage, and again, we see a constant support and rotation from the supports to try and secure his farm. So Skywrath Mage 1 full level above Puck, and I think they have a much better gank-oriented lineup. Wisp is getting the levels that he needs. He is level 4 and out-leveling the supports from EG quite well. EG Fear is at level 3 and Beat is only at level 2, so once support hits 6 and Denny gets a few more items, it's going to be really, really bad for EG.
Nice kill up here by EG. Not a whole lot you can say about it. They just executed it well. They let off with the disruption. The homing missile was timed out much better that time. Beat is able to let loose with the Illuminate to do damage. Speaking of damage, Demon taking quite a bit. And we're going to see him actually back off as the illusions from Puck doing enough to scare him off. Glyph's going to be used on this top tower. Here comes the TP reaction. That's going to be Kuroki making his way back in to try and hold this, fresh off of his death. In the meantime, the farm continues for Solskjaer, playing again on our CK. And EG looking to take a tower very quickly. Take a look at the experience. Demon's almost level 6. Skywrath Mage benefiting quite a lot from his ability to just bully people in that 1 versus 1 situation. He's almost level 8 already.
Yeah, and I mean, securing farm for Skywrath Mage is very, very important. Again,
Bambo.
NaVi is just so
Bambo
good
going to be
that.
caught out underneath his own tower and cleaned up. The reality rift there from the CK. And NaVi is really making this work. I mean, you know, just getting free kills right now. That, you know, you have to consider those free because where they want to come into their own is once the Wisp hits 6. And speaking of, he's almost there, halfway to level 6 already.
Oh, is Bambo going to die again? Oh, wow, they almost got the reality rift off on him.
Well, and Dindy just kills Demon again. Flashed the camera down there to see if they were going to engage onto him, but in the meantime, Dindy just making him pay, basically. 1 kill for him, 1 for Shen, 1 for Wisp. And Jao, the sole possessor of the only kill on the side of EG thus far. The last hit's now dominated by the CK, so he's had an excellent start. Really couldn't ask for more. He has gone treads first, so we'll see if he wants to get up drums or if he wants to go straight for something like an armlet. Give him a little bit more punching power earlier on. Taking a look at Jao, he's got his Tranquil Boots up. Didn't see what he just bought. Gonna guess he's just finished his drums, so very stable build out of him. Now the question is, with the drums already finished, does he want to go something like a Shadow Blade for the extra damage, the extra ability to fight, or does he go ahead and just continue to build survivability with a BKB, especially given there is a Skywrath Mage on the map?
I would say BKB. Looks like he's going to get a lot of farm from the supports, though. Kiro under a little bit of damage here, but it looks like they will get the free tower. But there was a triple stack here, and he used call down on it. We've been seeing Gyros do that a lot. The call down is just so low cooldown. Why not use it on a triple stack and get that early lead that you need?
Exactly. One of the things I love so much about a Gyro, and again, Skywrath Mage keeps killing Puck in mid over and over again. And, you know, whenever it's a matchup like that, you assume they're going to be close to each other, so it's very hard to guess when it's just going to happen. But Demon just being dominated in mid right now. That's how many deaths? 3 for him, I'm pretty sure? Yeah, he's 0-3-0. Very rarely do you see Demon find himself in a hole this deep, but Dindy's certainly helping him dig the hole.
Yeah, this silence is going to cause huge problems for him. 5-second silence on a very squishy hero like Puck is very, very bad news. Maybe in team fights they can try and save him with disruption, but he's going to be a liability, especially when he's this far behind the Skywrath Mage.
Dindy focusing up his Arcane Bolt and his Ancient Seal, just 1 point in a concussive, more or less the standard build, and it's beginning to show why. Just being able to cope with Puck in particular, but I mean right now EG's just hurting so badly. You know, it's only 4-1, sure, and they did take a tower, that certainly helps, but this team hasn't even hit its stride yet. Funnick is just now level 6, so I mean he's like has 6.5. We haven't even really seen that part of the lineup stretch its legs. Here comes Demon, drops the coil, catches a couple. Can they follow it up? Bambo was trapped in. There's the hand of God to get it back into fighting shape, and the damage being done. We're going to see 1 down. That's Puck. CK drops as well. Bambo drops the cogs. Now here comes Jao. He's going to chase down Puppy. Jao with the Tranquil Boots in the drum should have no problem chasing him down and cleaning this up. And in the meantime, Bambo patiently awaiting the return of the Wisp. They know where it's going to be, and there it is. Now he's got CK with him, though. Bambo still taking some damage. Funnick likely to end up dead here. There's a disruption on Bambo to keep him alive. Funnick will end up cleaned up, and Bambo's going to be traded for him as well, trying to re-engage. Beat is eating a lot of damage. Really just kind of a cluster over here. Now he's going to use Phantasm. Not sure it matters now, though. The ulti off the mark. Dindy missed. They still might be able to pursue Fear out. And no, the Illuminate's there, so EG gets a turnaround to go in their direction. Dindy pulled the trigger mighty fast on that ulti. It really didn't catch anything. And as the dust settles, EG comes out ahead there, make it 6-6. They've closed the gap.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to NaVi right there, especially to the CK. He died, he bought back, got teleported in by Wisp, and died again. That's such a such a devastating early game turnaround that you don't really want that at all. He was just safe lane free farming. They were doing perfectly fine. Io was level 6, and then ouch, that's a big blow to NaVi.
If you look at the gold graph, you can just see how big a blow it was. Pretty much the entire lead they had built to that point completely erased as the gold nosedives back towards the Meridian line. The experience, not quite as bad, but still cut in half. So EG getting a big blow going in their direction. We're at 11.5 minutes in. 12 kills are on the board. 6 apiece. There's a hook coming out of the river. Bambo, what great synergy. The ulti did damage, but with no one there to follow up. The Illuminate was charged. Now hang on, there's Relocate. We're going to see Bambo again disrupt. They're trying to buy him some time. Call down's going to be there. They're going to re-engage. We're going to see the Wisp drop, and now the CK being pursued. Demon looking for some revenge. He's going to get off the silence. Can they catch him? Drum charges have been popped, and one auto attack should be that. They're going to let the homing missile try to clean up. Will it get to him? No! It tracks him down at the absolute last minute. The tower shot that would have blown it up was on the way. They do find a return kill and cleaning up the Keeper of the Light in the meantime, but now Jayo's on the scent. Puppey being pursued, homing missile on the way. He grabs the Wildkin Ripper to try and get a little bit of help, if nothing else, to split up the damage from Rocket Barrage. Still has no help. Drum charges are popped. Puppey making him work for it, finally. Manages to clean things up, make it 10-7 when all's said and done. EG, who was trailing, not only cuts the lead down, but takes the lead themselves.
They're handling this Wisp CK combo very well. Very clutch disrupt there, just setting that whole play in motion.
Phenomenal play all across. And that homing missile had 2 tower shots that, if either connected, would have blown it up, and CK just unable to get far enough away in time. Looking at the items, Fear is getting himself a 4-staff. Very nice item for him to have against this lineup. Get them out of range of these main damage dealers. Taking a look at the gyro, he has opted to go with what we thought he would, which is the much more stable BKB build. Does not want to have to cope with magic damage, particularly coming out from that Skywrath Mage. Looking at the puck, Demon's not had the best game. Still sitting on tier 1 boots in a bottle. Certainly nowhere near a Blink Dagger. Bambo, though, has added the Staff of Wizardry to his inventory. We'll see what he wants to do with it. And Beat is working on his mechanism. Now has the headdress up on the way to it. On the other side of the river, we can see NaVi kind of reeling. They've got a buckler up on Puppey on his way to a mech of his own. CK, looks like he's going to actually build drums. So not going to be going for the armlet, going to be going for the much more stable treads, drums, possibly BKB to follow it up. Staff of Wizardry is complete on Dindy in the meantime. We'll see exactly what he wants to do with that. 4-staff, usually a nice choice. Kuro is working on a... he's got a headdress of his own, so most likely going to be a pipe, given he does have the ring of health as well. And Wisp doing what Wisp does. Actually got a set of Tranquil Boots in a bottle, so not bad for him.
And Fear is also doing very well. 2-0-4, the only support in this game that has not died yet, and he's well on his way to 4-staff. And he's just been playing very well in position for this Wisp gank and just stacking very well for Jayo. And I think Fear is doing very well this game.
And let's see if they can make something happen. Here we go. They're going to go for it. Bambo drops the cogs. Jayo's going to be caught out. There's a blinding light, though, and the ulti spit, but there's a disruption. Bambo eating a lot of damage. Jayo's still up and fighting. The Illuminate caught a bunch. Can they clean it up? Silence on CK. Tries to run from the call down. There's the Hand of God to get NaVi back into fighting shape. EG, anything but. They're hurting, and they're limping back to their tier 1. EG pulling all the way back right into the loving clutches of the CK, who relocated behind the tier 1. They're going to end up killing 3. 2 buyback spin now, and now Demon, who bought back, is going to be cleaned up once again. Dindy has just mauled him. Beat is next on the list. He's going to drop. That's a triple kill for Dindy, putting this hero through the paces. Fear going to be vacuumed into Kuro. He's going to disrupt himself, but it just doesn't matter as he drops as well. And NaVi, who had given away, and now Bambo's not, well, it looks like he will actually get away. I was going to say he's not totally free and clear yet. But as it stands, an absolute slugfest, haymaker for haymaker, coming out of each team. 24 kills in a 15-minute game. 13 belong to NaVi. Looking at the goal graph, all of a sudden, it has turned quite a bit northward, up towards 3,000 gold, back to their advantage. The experience back high as well.
Yeah, this is Dota. This is what I love to see. 24 kills in 15 minutes, like over 1.5 kills per minute. And this is just lovely to see, and this is why people like watching NaVi so much. They're just guaranteed a lot of action, buybacks everywhere. I think we've seen maybe 4 buybacks already this game, and just an excellently executed Wisp TP gank right there. That just, it looked like EG had gotten away, and they had like 3 really low heroes, and they just completely wiped them and devastated them on that fight with that ultimate.
Absolutely. I'll tell you who's going to town, man, is a man by the name of Dindy. 5-2-4. Jayo's holding his own. He's 4-1-3, but Demon has, not had the best game, to put it mildly. He's sitting at like 0-6 right now. EG now rattling their saber here in mid. CK still looking for his farm, and the thing is, the CK, I mean, he's done okay work, but a lot of the good plays made in that last team fight came from Chen in particular, the well-timed Hand of God, micromanaging the creeps, doing a lot of damage with them in and of themselves. And NaVi, looking like the NaVi we all know and love to watch, a high-flying, play-making team.
And look at the net worth graph. Gyro is sitting on top with a 6,000 gold net worth, but Dendy very close behind. And the next 4 actually go in favor of NaVi.
For the top 5, as you had mentioned, belonging to NaVi in terms of pure out-and-out net worth. Little bit of a period of downtime for right now as both teams are licking their wounds, trying to find what farm they can. Beatis finally should have up the mech relatively soon. I love that courier. That is just such a cool courier. I definitely need to get that. But back to Jayo. 800 gold away until he completes his BKB. Now, BKB is an excellent item for him, but it's not going to completely mitigate what NaVi can do. It's going to take Reality Rift out of the mix so long as he doesn't get jumped on. But at the same time, I mean, you know, Gyro, as good as he is, does need a team around him at this stage of the game. He's not exactly 1v5 shaped quite yet. And what I worry might happen is between the Sky Wrath Mage and the CK in particular, he might just pop his BKB, his whole team's going to die, and he'll be left by himself.
Yeah, that is very likely to happen, especially with all these recent item pickups by NaVi. We see 1,100 gold on Skywrath Mage, so Dendy likely to get his Rod of Atos. We see Mech completed on Puppy, and we see a Pipe already completed by Kuroki. So they have most of their core items, and they're going to be wanting to fight very, very soon. Jo just only 300 gold away from his BKB. He should have it after this double stack.
Kuro's picked up that Pipe. That alone really hurts Jo. Just because, you know, the strength of a Gyro at this stage, and one of the reasons you see people do this so often, just build very stable, go drums, BKB, etc., is he has good damage from Call Down and from Rocket Barrage, but that's magic damage. So the fact that they're going to have a Pipe at this early phase of the game means Jo's damage is going to be limited in a lot of ways to Flak Cannon. And with his right-click being pretty abysmal, it's just, you know, it's not going to work out too well. He can pop his BKB, but if his magic damage isn't doing its job, it's not going to matter. Very important fight here if EG decides to engage. The tier 1 should end up dropping. It's very, very low. They are going to try to keep this up. There's an Illuminate to help scare things away a little bit. And there's the Pipe. They're going to go ahead and rush the tower. Moving in, there's Blinding Light. Makes it so frustrating to try and bring that tower down. Finally, brought down by CK. And the mech gets them back in the fighting shape. Let's see how much they want to commit to this. They've got tons of range and tons of reach between Bambo and Demon. They have two of the best heroes in the entire game at starting fights unexpectedly. It's just a matter of if they can finish the fights that they start. BKB is done on Jo, taking a look at Bambo. He is opting for a 4-staff. Beat is that mech done right about now. He may have the, nope, not yet. So about 90 gold, he'll have enough to buy the recipe.
Poor Demon, I think he's just going to have a really tough game. He had a really bad start, especially with that first blood from the Invis Chen, and now he's just 0-6, and Blink is nowhere in sight for him. I think he might just go 4-step just because he keeps dying.
And here we go. EG showing their face here in mid. Bambo's down in the water looking for a target. And he's going to be vacuumed up. Well done by Kuro. Uses the hook, excuse me, to get out of the way. But Demon blown up once again. The call down. They just don't even care. Watch him walk through it. They do not care. There's the effect of that Pipe I was talking about. Gyro is a non-factor when Pipe is used like that. They just have no reason to fear him, and all other damage on the side of EG, for the most part, is magical. Hand of God gets him back in fighting shape. Fear going to disrupt himself, only delaying the inevitable, as he is going to be cleaned up quite easily. Illuminate doing okay damage from range, but it's going to be another tier 1 going the way of NaVi. The Atos done on Dindy. He's tanked up. He's got a big mana pool. He also has a slow. CK beginning work on his BKB and not far from it. Only needs about 500 more gold. and he'll be able to one-shot by a BKB. Already has the Ogre Club. And, you know, the problem is EG's running out of real estate. I don't think they're going to have time to farm themselves back into this first game.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think, especially with this Chen, they can take out the early Roshan. Looks like they're all 5 gathered together. I wonder if they're going to smoke or just actually continue pushing. There's 3 T2 towers left, and NaVi will start their work on the first one.
NaVi moving up. Tier 2's now the mark. And I mean, and the thing about the precarious situation EG's in, we are going to see them smoke, and this is probably a wise call. They can't continue to just give towers away for free, obviously. I mean, that's just not an option. But if they commit to a fight, and after having spent as much gold as they have on buybacks, if they lose another big fight, they might just lose a tier 3 as well as a tier 2. There's the pipe going to be popped by Kuro. They're going to try to engage. Wall's going to go down. There's Vacuum, caught a couple. Kuro in the middle of it. Here's the call down, dodged by almost everyone. Funnick caught by it, but now Jo trying to do what damage he can. Coil's going to go down and grab a couple, but Demon face shifting out to safety. Dindy makes it a double kill yet again. And the rest of EG trying to withdraw. There's a disruption. There's that ulti. And Fear just blown up completely. Jo stands. BKB. Can he out-heal it? Can he out-damage him? No, sir. They do end up trading 1 for 1. And Dinty with the courier keeping watch over things. They end up losing 2, but it cost EG even more. 19-13. NaVi walks away without bringing down the tower, but again, a 1 fight beneath their belt.
Yep, and Dendi is just going to continue to become a monster. There's only 1 hero with BKB, and none of the other heroes can withstand that burst from his Atos, Silence, and Mystic Flare. And the amount of burst that he has is ridiculous. He just killed that Shadow Demon in less than a second. And again, he's just going to continue to be more and more scary as this game shapes up. And Skywrath Mage, he might start becoming a T1 pick.
I got to admit, man, again, when he went in, it's one of those heroes, I kind of figured he'd be a bit like an OD, you know, like a situational counter pick. Some teams ran him more than others just because of, you know, how comfortable a player is with him. You know, a surprise 5th pick to deal with some heroes. I thought it would be that kind of thing. I'm coming around to it too, man. The way he's dealing with Puck, I mean, Puck and Magnus are 2 of the most popular mids in the entire game right now. And we just got a good look at what happens whenever a Skywrath Mage gets a little bit ahead against the Puck. And we've seen already this weekend how much he can dominate a Magnus in a solo one-on-one situation. He may be around to stay, at least for a little while.
And EG can't really farm the lanes at all, and that's the problem with CK. You can't push out lanes. Notice this lane goes by empty, and the supports are forced to farm the safe their jungle, and they have to sentry all these places just to make sure that CK Wisp can't find them all alone. And they're really hard pressed to farm around the map right now. They only have 1 T1 tower down, and their space for farming is very, very limited.
7,500 gold, the advantage for NaVi. In excess of 10,000 experience. That hurts so much. You know, the way, again, to cope with a Wisp combination like this is just to try to sustain. Don't give them any free kills like you were talking about. Make them push as 5, which, you know, kind of takes the edge off of the strength of relocate ganks and so on and so forth. But they've just won over and over again to the point where it's almost like they're getting free ganks just because they're going 2 for 4, they're going 1 for 3, and so on and so forth at every single engagement. And we're going to see a relocate attempt, but yeah, sucked back down to bottom. So talk to me. Break it down from the captain's chair, putting you back in that comfortable seat, or not so comfortable if you're in EG shoes. If you're EG right now, Merlini, what's the game plan?
I would say just try and stack these Ancients, get some more items on BKB. He's pretty much their only hope for late game. He has to do a lot of damage with this Flatkin, and he doesn't have any damage items right now. He only has plus 27 damage, and most of that is just from agility. And with the mech and pipe, most of his other team are just rendered pretty useless, especially Puck, who is 0 and 8 and is forced to build a 4-staff instead of the usual Blink Dagger. So again, Gyrocopter is their only hope late game, and it looks like they probably will give up this T2. They might swing by Roche right now, but they're hard-pressed to do anything. They can't really 5-man. They got crushed in the past couple of engagements.
Ooh, Demon, barely able to make it away. Mystic Flare nipping at his heels as he TPs away. And yeah, back to Demon. He's had some trouble, to put it mildly. He just now has a 4-staff up, still sitting on tier 1 boots. He's 0, 8, and 7. And here's the disturbing thing. The CK's not having a great game. I mean, it's not him that's doing the work. He's 1 and 5 and 11, so he's been involved in a lot of the kills. but he is dying a lot more than he's really locking the kills down himself. But when you look at Dindy, that's where a lot of the work's being done. 9 and 2 on that Skywrath Mage. 3 of those kills coming out of mid alone.
Yep, and looks like EG is, I don't know, they just can't really do much right now. They're forced to stick around in this tight pack because of CK Wisp, and there's no Ancient Stack. They just can't really farm anywhere, and I'm just really worried about what they're going to do. I mean, to be honest, they don't really have any options. They've lost 5 mans, and they can't split push, so what else can you do? Just Ancient Stack, and we see them just huddle around together and try and look for easy kills, but NaVi is... Their positioning is pretty good right now. They're all pretty close to the bottom half of the map, and if, for example, they go on Kuro, they always have CK Wisp to fall back on.
Taking a look at NaVi. Kuro making his way to a Scepter following the completion of that pipe. Phonics added a Ghost Scepter to his inventory, so he's more survivable. BKB should be done on Dindy very, very soon. He's got enough for his Mithril Hammer now. He will buy it immediately. So now just seeking out that recipe. BKB done on the CK as well, so playing very tanky, very survivable. And on the Chen, he's managed to pick up a Vlad's, which is certainly going to help them with their team fight potential. And really, like I said, I said it a while ago and it's proving itself out. EG's just running out of real estate. And we can actually see CK takes the bait there. But EG in position. Don't know that they have a lot more fights in them. If they lose 1 or 2 more, it's just going to be GG on the back and nothing but experience, let alone items. In the meantime, NaVi moving up through this middle lane. All of EG is there, hoping they can finally get a win under their belt. The kill score not really indicative of just how far behind they are. Illuminate will be tossed out. They have a pipe if they want to spend it. They are managing to do some damage to the CK at the very least. Dindy way up front, though. Tanky as he is. 1,500 health on him as a Skywrath Mage with the BKB done, as well as his Ato, so he already had the recipe done and was on the courier. And now here we go. Bambo eats the Arcane Bolt. They do pop the pipe. They're cutting the creeps behind. They have managed to breach the Maidenhead, such as it was. And EG. Oh, no. Oh, no. Bambo, frustration. Saw him ping it. Saw him ping it as soon as he did it. He hooked, and Demon walked in front of him. And, yeah, immediately saw the green ping come up just like that. So Bambo missing an opportunity to re-engage there. Might have been a good way to start a fight. As it stands, NaVi slow sieging. And without that hook, EG has to kind of hang back and play a little more safely than they would like. Looks like NaVi is going to go ahead and back. They're just going to go ahead and rotate to the north.
And when we see BDS pick up an early gem, again, they need to try and expand the area that they can farm. For example, right now they can just farm like this area, and then they try and gem and deward this top part so that they aren't vulnerable to CK Wisp ganks, but they're smoked up. Looks like they want to take this fight.
This top tier 2 will be dropping, no doubt about it. Let's see how EG wants to go about this. They may cut through the jungle. They've got everyone there. There's Jo popping the BKB. Pipe's already used, though. And we're seeing them go one-on-one. We're going to see Phantasm popped, and now the wall goes down. Vacuum caught Beatus. They're going to try to pursue this out. Jo just going one-on-one with the CK. It's a break even for the moment. Bambo going to be cleaned up with a Mystic Flare. Demon is silenced, can do nothing, and Fear... Wow, the damage. Fear just got absolutely exploded. Beatus is gonna drop. Jo next on the list. We may see a GG off of that. Only Demon still stands. And yeah, CK does not care. And here comes Wisp back. So, Demon does come out trying to do something cute and dodges the Chaos Bolt there. Now, though, cleaned up immediately, and the GGs come out. 30 minutes on the money. It took NaVi, and they just took such command of this game early. Skywrath Mage in Dindy's hands, a very sharp tool indeed.
Yeah, wow. Skywrath Mage, so powerful if in the right hands, and Dindy, such an excellent player. It looks like he's practiced him a lot, and just always manages to find the farm that he needs to just snowball out of control.
Want to point out, just noticed this game broke my personal viewership record. The highest personal viewership I'd ever had up until this moment right now was 34,000 or 33,400. According to the stats in front of me right now, we are just short of 39,000 of you joining us for this final match on day 2 of the Curse Invitational. I want to thank you guys so very much for being a part of the broadcast. and hope you guys have been having just as much fun as we have. I'm EC, joined by Merlini. And we're going to put this one in the books. NaVi taking an extremely impressive Game 1 win over EG. EG going to have to turn things around in a hurry, else NaVi will be punching their ticket to the Winners Bracket Finals in a hurry. 30 minutes, 58 seconds, the official game time. 25-13, the final kill score when all was said and done. EG gonna have to turn the bagel into a breadstick in hopes of sending it to a Game 3. NaVi, though, they're thinking sweep. They're thinking Winners Bracket Finals. They're thinking $5,000, their share if they manage to win the Curse Invitational. Again, I'm EC, joined by Merlini. Make sure you hit follow here on Curse Entertainment. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. I'm at EC, at AYESEE, and Merlini is at Merlini Dota. See you guys in just a few minutes. Game 2 of this best of 3 coming up next.